Beyond the Pine is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Without a healthy mind, being happy is really hard. Visit betterhelp.com/pine and see if online therapy is for you. Yeah, perfect.
When Natalia and I clap, I've started just slapping my leg like I'm at a hoedown.
I mean, that's the way to do it, honestly. Just
then I don't have to put the mic down.
Yeah. And like, in a perfect world, we would be on a perfect set and everyone would be watching and everyone would love us.
Right. I thought you were going to say in a perfect world we'd be at a hoedown. And I was going to say that's true.
Yeah. I mean, fuck, that'd be the goal, right?
Right.
In life is to do a podcast at a hoedown. Alyssa Terry.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's me. Hi, James DeAngelis.
How are you?
Doing excellent. How are you today?
I'm fucking good. I'm tired and overworked.
Yeah. I feel that. I actually was just talking to Natalia earlier today. So I just got done filming 2 hours of a Let's Get Haunted episode.
Keep talking.
And I was telling her, I was like, I just feel like I've really stretched myself thin lately.
Yeah.
And I can't even think of anything in particular to point to. It's just like with work, the podcast, friends, family. I just feel like I'm spread super thin this month.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like it's honestly just like finding a balance in life is necessary and difficult. And
yeah,
I mean,
really hard.
I've been working on so many different things, like working at the lighting shop, working on set, fucking did that music video for Clay where the second day we did it, we didn't wrap until like 6 a.m.
What?
Yeah. And
wait, I want to hear about that. I haven't heard about this.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'm editing it right now, but yeah. And then like when I'm at home, I like on my days off, I have other projects I want to be working on. Like I'm writing a short film right now. I'm fucking working on music and like, but I feel guilty anytime that I used to like be really bad at like being lazy and being like, whatever, I'm just going to fucking play video games and watch shit. And now I feel like I'm in this mindset where I feel guilty or like down on myself if I'm doing that shit because there's all these things that I'm trying to do.
I totally
and
agree.
I'm like in a mindset where like for the first time in a long time where like I feel motivated and I feel inspired and shit. And so I'm like, okay, I have to like ride this, but it's just about a balance.
Yeah. It's just, to your point, it's just really hard to find, especially when I feel like maybe you were kind of raised in the same way. I do feel guilty if I'm not actively doing something.
I was hardly raised at all.
Hardly.
No, I take that back. I was raised by my grandma.
Well, that's excellent.
Yeah. And she was amazing.
Is she still with us?
No, she passed away 2 years ago.
That's right. I do remember that. Yeah, my condolences.
2 years in July, and that was crazy.
Well, my birthday's in July, so it's a resurrection.
Awesome.
Some people have to go.
Awesome. I'm going to stop you right there, Alyssa. It was great having you.
I was like, what? How can we make this not depressing?
How do I get out of this? My birthday's in July.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
No, I say I'm at peace with it, but as much as you can be,
Right.
It comes up from time to time.
Of course.
But I feel like I have a pretty healthy, at peace outlook on it and death. And, I had a fucked up upbringing and relationship with my parents and family and all that stuff. And so I feel like, about to get real. I feel like I had to grow up like a lot faster. So maybe that equipped me to be able to deal with like heavy things.
Right.
But then again, last summer when I had a really bad time, I was realizing that all these things that I thought that I had processed and dealt with, I actually didn't. And so they all came up and then I was like, all right, you son of a bitch, time to get processed.
So are you going to therapy now to try to process it? What?
No, I'm not.
I go to therapy.
I go to therapy sometimes. I'm not on like a regular therapy schedule. I love therapy and I benefit a lot from therapy, but I think I've just been, I don't know. I feel like in life you go through the phases of like, I need a lot of therapy. I'm okay to kind of deal with shit on my own. And then, and it kind of, it's just, life's like an ebb and flow, And speaking of therapy, this is the perfect time to give a huge thank you to our sponsor of today's episode of Beyond the Pine, BetterHelp Online Therapy. Life is full of stressors. It doesn't matter who you are, what you have, where you live, what you do, any of those factors. Life is full of stressors, and BetterHelp is there to help. Like you just heard me say, I go through ups and downs, ebbs and flows of therapy in my life. And I've often found that the times in my life where I am doing therapy, I'm a lot more stable mentally, internally than the times that I'm not. Now, I think it's important to realize that life changes and the way that you feel changes a lot. So it's important to be in tune with that and kind of gauge your therapy or other things you do in life around those factors. But overall, I would say that I personally believe that therapy can help anyone and everyone, no matter where you're at in life. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Unload the stressors and get some unbiased feedback. And I'm telling you right now, you'll be pretty surprised with just how much you could gain from it. So see if it's for you. Try out BetterHelp. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and Beyond the Pine listeners can get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/pine. That's BETTERHELP.com/pine. And we all know pine is spelled PINE, and your boy's really good at spelling. So again, you guys, if you've been, thinking about therapy and you're unsure if it's right for you or if it could help you, the only thing you could do is try. And I definitely encourage that. And BetterHelp is a great resource to try that out. So again, that's 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/pine. Thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's true. I didn't do therapy for, I want to say maybe like 2 years. And then I recently just started doing it again because like I said, I kind of feel like I've stretched myself thin and I don't know how to say no to people is what I've learned. I feel like
and that's why you're here right now.
That's why I'm here right now, you guys.
No, I feel that.
No, I'm very excited you invited me to come here. And you're one of my only friends that I can talk to aliens about. Oh. So I would definitely jumped at the opportunity.
Oh my God, dude. That's like, I'm stoked that you are the way that you are because of that. And I feel like I always come off as like more skeptical or like stuff around you. But I think it's only because like I'm you with everyone else.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's like, but this and this and fucking this shit.
So then you meet somebody else that's like exactly like open-minded, and then you have to be like, well, wait a minute, let me take a step back, because now I'm seeing how I look when I'm talking about it. Yeah.
And then you sent me a fucking video of some like UFO in like Guatemala or something.
Yeah, something.
And it was the blurriest blip of a light, and I was like, I don't know, man. There's better ones out there.
That I was so angry. I was like, I'm never sending you another UFO video ever again.
And I was like, no, please do. I love that, and I want that so bad. Right. But this one, I'm not too sure about.
Not. Okay, yeah. I thought it was cool. I go on r/UFOs all the time, and I'm just looking at any piece of shit video that anyone posts, and I just immediately believe it.
It's so tough because, like, I feel like they fall into 3 categories. And the third category is like 0.5% of the total amount of videos.
Right.
First category is super shitty quality. That could be anything at all. There's no way to ever know type of video. Then there are ones that are too high of quality that could easily just be CGI.
Right.
Now, because of fucking anything, you could do anything.
Well, it's like deep fakes. You know, like what's real and what's not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the little 0.5% are the ones that you're like, that's the golden area, the Goldilocks zone of UFO videos where this one could be real.
Definitely. Well, I am trying to get Lou Elizondo on the show, who is the Penta.
Wait a minute. Lou Elizondo. Yeah. Hold on. The fucking A-tip guy?
Yeah. I was talking to he's coming on the show. He told me it's happening. He just can't give me a date yet. So I've been talking.
That is huge.
Thank you. Yes.
That is fucking huge.
Thank you.
What?
Yes.
For any of you who don't know who Lou Elizondo is, he is the former head of ATIP, which I forget what it stands for, but it's literally like the task force within the government that is responsible for researching and looking into all the accounts of UFOs and everything.
Exactly. And he is the whistleblower that...
and now he's doing all the private shit with that's all I'm trying to pull this
to the stars. Yeah.
To the stars with fucking
why are you doing that?
Bored.
As a woman, I'm like, would you ever pull your hair out?
No, it's just because like I get a few sometimes that go they're like right here, and then I'm just like, get the fuck out of there.
Well, you could start doing a new hairstyle where you like have cornrows or something, and then you don't have any flyaways. Very,
very tight braids then.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Or I could do that look, oh my God. go back to that look like early 2000s with like the hair just up in the front.
Duck ass?
Is that what that's called?
Oh, well, no, that was the 1950s. That was like Grease era where it goes up. That was duck ass.
Dude, that style was dope. It was
Yeah.
literally like gel
And it was
going
a
forward.
curly-
And then it was just like, whoosh. It was
it
like
was
a
beautiful.
built-in visor.
No, we were just talking about the Pidgeotto haircut that both you and Steve had back in the day.
Yeah, dude. And I had the
Natalia
shiny
and I-
one too when I was blonde.
Yeah. Natalia and I were talking about it because we did an episode on, do you know what Indrid Cold is?
Ingrid Cole?
Indrid Cold.
No, tell me about it.
All right. An alleged alien. No, you're going to listen
later.
to this. Because someone drew a picture of this alien that supposedly came down. And
Hold on, I
he
feel like,
has that haircut.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. I feel like just this angle is making my short shorts. I don't want to do an upskirt
It's like
here.
a crotch shot.
No, we're good.
Yeah, I think you're fine.
Yeah.
You could have like hidden something up your shorts though, like your Spider-Man action figure, and then it could be an Easter egg for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one would get it.
No.
I'm just kidding. So continue.
Oh.
Ingrid Bergman.
Indrid Bergman. So he allegedly came down in a spaceship in the 1960s. It was 1966. Landed his spaceship in front of a bunch of cars. It's kind of funny. And like would walk up to people on the road and like ask them these pointless questions. And if he didn't like their answer, he would fly away. And then eventually he found a guy that
This was
gave
a
him...
human,
No, it's an alien.
but a humanoid alien.
Yeah, looks kind of like a human. It's called the Grinning Man. So there's all these stories of people in the 60s who would encounter these humanoid like entities that looked like humans, but it was almost like Uncanny Valley where something's a little bit off. And the one common thread is that the human would always be smiling like way too big. Like
Yeah, because they don't know.
they don't know how.
Yeah, 'cause they're
exactly. That's
socially
right.
awkward.
Yeah, they're just trying. They're like studying magazines of what humans are. And they're
Yeah.
like, well, it looks like
Everyone's
they
smiling.
smile. Yeah.
Why are they all just showing their teeth?
Exactly.
Isn't that a form of like intimidation?
Aggression? Yeah, like a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then somebody drew like a sketch of him, and it's hilarious because it just looks exactly like that haircut, that Pidgeotto haircut.
I have to look it up.
You got to look it up. Indrid Cold, INDRID, and then the word cold.
INDRID.
RID. Cold.
Cold.
And then you got to just go to
Oh, yeah.
images.
Oh, that's the Zodiac killer.
Yeah. Okay, wait, that's a good conspiracy theory. What if that's why it's unsolved?
No, it's fucking.
No, but James.
What's his name? It's God damn it, what's his fucking dumbass
Ted Cruz.
fucking name? Nope.
Oh.
It is. What's his name? Hold on.
I don't know what you're about to say.
The guy
it's
who
not
is
Ted Cruz.
like 90% sure this is who the Zodiac killer was. Arthur Lee Allen, is that his fucking name? Yo, if that's his name, you guys gotta Venmo me. I'm gonna show this picture though of this fucking alien guy.
Wait. But okay, so that's one of them. But then there's, let me see if I can find it.
Here.
There's so many like, okay, first of all, terrifying, right?
Yeah.
Look at that. And then here's the one I'm thinking of.
Jesus, man. Okay, taking a screenshot of this.
Yep.
So this is actually the one I'm gonna show. You just get one.
You can, also you guys have the ability to go to
Yeah,
Google right now
totally.
and type in Indrid Cold. And then for that episode, I found someone who claimed to have met Indrid Cold. And so I got an
What?
interview. Yes.
I don't believe it.
Okay, well, let me tell you, because basically doing interviews, which I'm sure you guys know on your show, it's like, you never know how it's going to turn out. Is the
we
person
don't
insane?
Listen, I think that I'm flattered that you consider Beyond the Pine.
This is such a professional production that you guys have. I'm not saying that
I
sarcastically.
mean, we're doing it in my living room, but that's fine.
You have a really nice camera. You've
Thank
got
you.
working equipment.
Yeah, totally. No, I was
You
just
have
going to say though, like,
chairs?
I would say I always consider Beyond the Pine, like just friends fucking shooting the
Yeah.
shit with little to no structure. And that's the way it's going to remain. And that's the
Until
way we
the end
love
of
it.
time.
Yep.
Yep.
And so, and we've talked about this. I look at your podcast as very professional because of the
thank
amount
you.
of research and structure that goes into it. But I've stopped trying to like fool myself into thinking one day Beyond the Pine is going to be structured and all this shit. And it's
well,
like,
but then
why
it,
though?
it would lose its magic.
Exactly.
If it was structured. Yeah, we talked
Exactly.
about this when I saw you a couple episodes ago
Yeah.
on my show. It doesn't work. It's like you can't force the vibe of your show or the whole structure of your show to completely change. It would be a different show.
Exactly. And I think
Yeah.
that also is why alternative lifestyle ended up not working, because we tried to do that too much in many different ways. As well as the fucking upload schedule that was insane.
I was about to
all
talk
this
about
shit.
that.
It was like, yeah, so I agree with you. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm super comfortable with that being what Beyond the Pine is just like friends and guests that are also friends, just fucking shooting their shit about whatever we want to talk about.
Right.
Maybe have some ideas of shit to talk about. Like literally you said, oh, I have this thing I want to tell you about. And I was like, oh, I have this thing I want to tell you about.
Right.
That's the level of research.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the thing I wanted to tell you about was this lady whose interview I got, because her dad is the original witness of Indrid Cold in the 60s, who like started this whole phenomenon where people started coming forward and saying, hey, I've also seen a grinning man.
That's crazy.
And so I talked to her, and we weren't sure, like, is she going to be, I hope she doesn't watch this because she's very nice, but like, is she going to be insane?
Yeah.
Or because you kind of get a mixed bag. Like, we've had a CIA scientist on the podcast.
Wait, so you had
before.
her on the podcast?
Yeah, and we had her on the podcast, and I don't know if it's hard because
So you already did it?
Yeah, we already did it.
And
it
so-
comes
and-
out second week of September.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to check that out for sure.
Yeah, so it definitely, like, I mean, she's getting up there in years, so it's kind of hard to
Right.
know, like, maybe the original sighting is a real thing, but maybe some of the things she claims that have happened more recently could be just like delusions. But it's hard because you walk a fine line. There's mental illness, and hallucinations are a big part of paranormal phenomenon. But then also our government just came out and said that there are UFOs. So it's like, where do you draw? And there's cultural things where, you can't tell someone whose culture it is that this is the proper funeral rite. Otherwise you get bad juju. Like, you know what I mean? There's like
Yeah.
a fine line that you walk. So I don't want to say that she is saying lies or that she's delusional, but it is so bizarre to talk to someone who claims to have seen an alien. It's so
So did this
different.
person see them too, or just
Yeah.
the story that their father
So
told?
her dad went public about seeing this alien, and it was like this big deal, like ruined their family.
Wow.
Split the family apart. She had to go live with her mom for a while. The dad was kind of like in ruins after he went public with this story in the 60s.
In ruins because of like his public image being
The
shattered?
stigma.
Okay. Because I
Because-
feel like also having had that experience.
Oh, I'm sure.
Is a paradigm shift.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know what I mean?
And there are some people who even say, that they don't believe he had the experience and that it was some elaborate lie cover up for maybe he was cheating on his wife. So he said he met this alien. I mean, I kind of think, why would that be your go-to?
I met this alien and I fucked the alien.
Like, why would that be your go-to? If I
Yeah.
was going to cheat
I don't know,
on my
man.
wife.
That reminds me of like some Walter White shit.
Really?
Like all the lies that. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
That's true. Yeah.
Like his fugue state and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
When he was just like, I don't know how I'm going to explain this, so I'm just going to walk into a grocery store naked and then just say I don't remember anything.
I guess you're right.
But then it kind of like, they bought it for like an episode and then everyone was like, that's fucking bullshit, man.
Yeah, they had to come
Yeah.
around and be like, nobody believes him because
Yeah.
it was too unbelievable. Yeah. So some people do think because he was a salesman. And so they're like, well, maybe he was just, late coming home from work because he was cheating and he decided to say he met an alien.
Right. Instead of just saying, sorry, babe, I was working late.
Right. Yeah, because that's the most common thing. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. So she claims that she saw him too, that the alien came down and visited their house a couple times after the dad went public with the story, that she would see him at malls. That one time as a little girl, she was at a ice cream counter, like an old timey ice cream counter.
Yep.
And that
Malt shop.
Yeah, a malt shop, if you will.
Yeah.
And that somebody put down in front of her a sundae, the lady working behind the counter, and she was like, who's this from? I can't afford this. And the lady goes, oh, it's that guy down there. And she turns and looks, and it's the fucking alien who's just
Hey.
wearing a hat,
Smiling.
yeah. And he's just in the at the far corner of the ice cream parlor.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
I know.
That's fucking nuts, dude. How are my levels? There, that's better. I'll boost it all. It's fine. I'm just concerned. But no, it's fine. Yeah, and I mean, again, I feel like my skepticism only comes out when I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Just because it's like
Well, otherwise it's just two people that sound
going crazy.
progressively more crazy. Yeah.
I think a very important thing to realize too is like of the 100 accounts, one is real.
Is real, yeah.
And other people want fucking fame, notoriety, just agents of chaos. People are pathological liars where they
totally.
lie and they don't even understand why they're lying.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we've talked about him, but Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
Bob Lazar
Yeah.
is like the one person that I not believe 100%, but I believe 90%.
Yeah.
You know, because his like whole thing, his whole fucking like his persona, his level of intelligence, like
Yeah, I think what
way
makes
his stories stayed
consistent,
but he also is like, you know, I was just watching a clip of him on Joe Rogan and Joe's like, oh, like what was the one moment that you knew that you were working on something that couldn't be from Earth? Like it had to be like an alien thing that you're working on. And he was like, oh, I don't know, like the moment. I mean, this was all 30, 40 years ago, you know, like it all kind of blends together. And so like those are honest answers, you know, instead of being like, this is the moment, like having your story down to a T.
Yeah,
you know?
like the camera zoomed in on me in my mind's eye and I knew that I was working on
I had a brain blast.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking, like,
Jimmy Neutron
That's So Raven
brain blast.
fucking,
yeah.
she's having a vision.
Exactly. Everything froze. It was a freeze frame and then it zoomed in on me and that's when I knew.
Freeze frame. You're probably wondering how I got here right now.
I feel like what makes people not believe Bob Lazar is he's not super likable. He's kind of like over the top.
He's a little just like
eccentric,
blunt too.
yeah.
Eccentric and blunt and kind of like, in a way, like, I don't care if you don't believe me.
Exactly.
You know, kind of apathetic in a way. And I feel like that makes sense to me, like as a natural progression of having dealt with this for the last 40 years.
Totally. Yeah, it makes sense.
Because it's, you know, I remember there was I don't know if we've even talked about this. I feel like we have. There was like an old interview from back in like the 80s where he's on TV and they're asking him like, so you're, you know, telling the world about this because you think everyone deserves to have this technology? And he was like, no, I'm telling you all this so that they don't kill me.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey.
I mean, and that's another thing that for me, it's not hard to make the jump from like to believing Bob Lazar, because if you think about MKUltra, which I know is an easy example to come back to, but like that was a thing where people were murdered so that the secret wouldn't come out about MKUltra.
Yep.
And then years later, finally the government was like, okay, yeah, we did murder your dad. Like there was one case where they paid some girl because they were like, yeah, you're right. Your dad didn't really commit suicide. We threw him out a window.
Is that one documentary?
I'm only speaking about an episode that Natalia did on MKUltra. So all my knowledge is coming from that episode that she told me. So maybe she told me a bunch of bullshit, but
there's a documentary that sounds like it might be that similar story.
Maybe she watched it. Yeah.
Maybe, but it's really cool because they do, and I didn't watch it, but I've always wanted to watch it, but just never got around to it. But they do this really cool like dramatization of the story as it's being told and stuff. And what's his name? Peter Skarsgård plays like the dad, and he's like literally like drugged on LSD and shit, and it's just like super trippy. And all
that's
that
the
shit.
one where they drugged people to blackmail them. And they would put like hookers in the motel room with like a high ranking official, get him high on LSD, take pictures. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just classic blackmail.
Wild.
Classic terrifying blackmail.
Wild. I know, it's crazy. And then when stuff, I guess my point is when stuff like that gets declassified and you're like, whoa, really? I'm sure people for years were saying that girl was crazy when she was like, my dad didn't kill himself.
Yeah.
A CIA agent threw him out a window. And then to like have that information come out and validate you, I don't know. It's like, okay, well now they're coming out, the US government's coming out and saying that some of these videos are real.
Yeah.
So I don't know, where does it start and stop? Which people do you believe?
I don't think we'll know that for a long time.
No, I don't think so either.
No, but I mean, if you think about like disclosure being a thing that's happening, and because it's either the government that's going to decide to do it, or it's going to be whistleblowers. But
or it's going to be so obvious they can't hide it anymore.
I don't know. I mean, I think
know?
that would be a very big deal.
I don't know. I feel like so many sightings keep happening, and to your point, maybe they're all hoaxes. But let's say 1% of them are real. There's so many that at least lately that have been popping up online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but even still, like, I mean, because you have certain events that are like widely recorded by many people, right? Like hundreds of people in this major city saw this thing, like the shit over Phoenix and like
the aerial school aliens. Have you heard of that one? this spaceship landed in a country in Africa. I don't remember which country, in front of a children's school, and they were out on recess, and literal aliens came out of the ship.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And
Are they all grown up now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of them works at Barstool Sports and was like, randomly, they figured out that he had gone to whatever, that school. And they were like, why'd you never tell us about this? And he's like, well, for me, it's just like, I already know it's a fact that it happened.
It's fucking crazy.
So why would I ever, like, it's not like I'm trying to get people to believe me.
Yeah.
Like 50 of us saw it.
That's fucking nuts,
Yeah.
dude. Like, yeah, where did I see? I feel like I was on TikTok and I might have seen like a clip with like an interview of them or some of them. And
A documentary is coming out soon, so maybe you saw.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
The whole thing was like something happened that day that is unexplainable. So was it aliens? Was it something else? We don't know. But like something happened
Right.
to this group of kids that they saw, that they interacted with something.
Yeah. I know. And that's something that we talk about on our show too, because we're not skeptics on the show. We're supposed to take like the craziest theory and run with it. It's like at the very least, the most skeptical person has to be like, look, something happened. What that was, you can draw your own conclusions, but you can't just say nothing happened when you have 50 kids drawing the same photos of a UFO.
And it's like, I feel people are so, it's very human to want to define things and want to have an explainable, easy answer to explain this thing that is otherwise totally unexplainable. So people who are very skeptical will be like, that's what this was, easily.
Yeah.
And then it's like door shut in their brain, you
Yeah.
know? So they're not even going to try to be open to the possibility of it being something else. But I'm like, yo, we don't know fucking shit.
Yeah,
dude.
we really
don't know fucking
don't.
shit.
We really don't know anything about anything. And I think the point where I was like, no, I'm not crazy for thinking that there's a lot of unexplained shit out there is when we had the CIA scientist come on our show.
That's a crazy sentence.
Yeah, he's an ex-CIA
When we had
scientist.
the CIA scientist,
Right. Well,
dude, wait a like, so that's crazy.
Yeah. So he came.
How did you? I mean, were you able to like verify his credentials and shit?
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever
Cool.
seen the movie Men Who Stare at Goats? Okay. So that was about that's like a fictional version of us.
Can you hand me my vape?
I can, sir.
It's been about 20 minutes. I need a hit.
Yep. You're jonesing.
Yee.
But that was about the CIA's attempt to study astral projection and telepathy. And what they were trying to do is figure out
Is
if
that
they could.
Montauk? Like remote viewing and shit?
It's remote viewing. I don't remember.
Remote viewing. That's some
That
crazy
shit's
shit.
crazy.
I don't know enough about it to like really get into it, but that shit always, I was like, crazy.
Well, he
Fucking
said
crazy.
it's real. He said he came into this as a skeptic. They just needed another scientist
Yeah.
to like do the control and like whatever. I don't know. I'm not a fucking scientist, whatever they do. And he said that some people, it's undeniable that they can like using their mind can see inside of a safe and read a code word off of a piece of paper and it would be correct. And like 100% of the time, the person would get it correct. But they can't, but the government eventually decided to abandon the studies and publicly say, oh, they're useless, they're worthless, nothing of value was discovered because they couldn't figure out how to weaponize it.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what he said. And I tend to believe him because he's
I feel like the
a
government does
genius.
that for two reasons, maybe three reasons. First reason is it's not monetarily efficient. Second reason is they can't weaponize it.
Right.
Third reason is they just want to go on the books and say they're stopping it, but they're really continuing it. For
You
sure.
hit the nail on the head.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Definitely.
And if you guys don't hear from me for a few days, few months, maybe I just fall off the face of the earth. Everything's fine, probably.
Also, if you think that we're insane, it's possible.
I don't care if people think I'm insane because I just like, I know that I don't know shit and I'm at peace with that.
Yeah.
And I just like, I think the world would be so much more interesting if there was all this crazy shit going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I believe in science
Oh, totally.
100%, but I also think that there's so much that we don't know about so many different things that it's like, come on, let's have some fun.
And I also think as long as the belief you have isn't harming you or other people, then
Exactly.
then who gives a shit?
Exactly.
If I think aliens are real, how does it affect anyone else's
And
life?
not harming yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to like fall deep into a rabbit hole and then like psychosis and shit, you know?
Well, and you kind of said,
Enough of that.
Do you have a garbage truck in your front yard?
Yep, that's my outside garbage disposal.
Yeah.
Let me just wait for that to pass.
You're disposing of
A
your
body.
past guests.
So.
Oh, wait, it's going away. I don't remember what we were talking about now.
I wanted to hear more about Lou Elizondo.
Yes. Okay.
Because did we finish saying who that is?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so yeah, he used to be.
This is the government right now. Sabotaging.
Just a guy in a black suit out there, just like peeking the window with a leaf blower, like, shut the fuck up.
Hi, I'm your new gardener.
I'm your gardener. Why are you wearing a suit?
I take my job seriously.
I have to. Lou Elizondo, former head of ATIP, which I'm just going to look up exactly what that stands for.
Aerial.
Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification
There we go.
Program.
Yeah.
Yep. Their purpose was to study unidentified flying objects or unexplained aerial phenomena. Yeah, literally, like a fact.
Yeah.
That's unclassified that existed
Correct.
and was funded by the government, and then had been. I think it was like a reincarnation of an older program that happened probably in like the 60s or 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, there have been a couple. Like Project Blue Book was one of them. I forget what the name of the one before that was, but yeah, they've had a couple different projects or agencies that they like have look into UFOs, and then they created ATIP and gave it a name that sounded not conspiratorial.
Yeah, sounded legit.
Yeah. Like, oh, there's things in the sky and we want you to study them. We're not going to talk about UFOs or aliens.
It's probably not aliens, but
yeah,
it might be.
You just never know.
And that's it though. That's like literally
That's it.
It's like,
we don't know.
It's probably not aliens, but I don't know.
But
it could be.
It could be a lot of things. It could be crazy shit that we can't even comprehend. We don't like. I'm going to sound so stupid right now because I'm not a scientist. But like, okay, quantum physics. Like, we don't really know how that shit works. There's a lot of theories.
Yep.
So what if it's just some natural phenomenon that we don't even understand yet? And that's still cool as fuck. And that still deserves to be studied.
Quantum mechanics and quantum physics and shit is magic.
Yeah, it's 100% sorcery.
Yeah. I mean, what's that whole thing? It's like, I forget who said this or exactly what the quote is, but it's like, when technology becomes so advanced that it's impossible to discern it from magic.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
Yeah. So it's literally like, I mean, fucking when magic was like a whole thing in like the Middle Ages and shit, you know, like,
yeah,
there could have been some other shit going on, some other like technology, or like I often, you know, like I think a really interesting idea that I've thought of potentially turning into a movie, or at least a part of a movie, or just like an idea within a movie, is like ancient curses and shit, right? Like King Tut's tomb being exhumed and then like everyone dying who was a part of it.
Yeah.
What if that wasn't a curse? What if that was some sort of artifact that held a heavy amount of radiation or something?
Oh,
you know what I
that's
mean? And it was
interesting.
radiation poisoning that killed the entire crew because they were in contact with it and shit.
Right.
You know?
That's its own kind of curse.
Yeah. And fucking aliens being in contact with ancient civilizations
And that's why
and
it was
shit.
radioactive.
Exactly. It was a core of some sort.
Uh-huh.
Or like, because we all know that the Great Pyramid is a power plant.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, you never heard about that?
No.
Yeah.
I kind of stay away from the ancient Egypt conspiracies just because I don't know if you saw on Twitter, it was like really, like people were really coming out saying it's very controversial to think that like the aliens built the pyramids because that's denying.
I don't think
that
the aliens built
enslaved-
the pyramids at all.
Yeah, that people were enslaved and like that's why that shit was built. And so I kind of have just like stayed away from researching any of that because we always want to be like sensitive when we cover a topic. And so when it's like a cultural thing, if I can't find someone from that culture to explain it to me, then I just try to like stay away from it now.
Yeah. I just think like, what the interesting thing to me about ancient civilizations is like how they were able to do things and with the technology that they had, or that from our understanding they had. And then but there's like this missing link of like, this is what we understand. Then there's like a little bit missing. And then it's like, this is what was made and how things worked. And it's like,
Right.
what was that area that's missing? You know what I mean?
That's like in the Ural Mountains.
I don't think that the aliens built the aliens. I don't think the aliens built the pyramids at all.
Right.
But I think that like the purpose for the pyramids, we have no fucking idea.
Right.
'Cause not a single pyramid. Everybody says, or like it was always like widely believed that pyramids were tombs.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single pyramid discovered has ever been a tomb.
I didn't know that.
Period.
Wow.
Yeah. Every
so
like
what-
tomb of pharaohs and shit have been found in other places.
That's like in Peru. Natalia was telling me something recently about how there's those, I forget what they're called, but they're like these crazy lines.
The Nazca lines.
Nazca lines, and they didn't have the ability to see what, like, to
Yeah,
see
what
from
was
an
it
aerial
for?
view. So, right. So, what was it for? What was the purpose? And how did they even
And I mean, you know,
design it?
there's cultural, religious reasons to do things that, you know, in some situations it might be as simple as that's it. That's the answer. They did it for that reason.
To honor a god
To
or
honor a
something.
god. But then there's like, you keep asking that question. So it's like, but why? Yeah. How would they know what it looked like? That they did it right? I mean, I guess, you know, engineering and shit isn't
Yeah, math.
that
Math
hard.
is magic to me.
Math is magic, and I'm
Yeah.
not good at math.
No, I'm really bad at it.
That's like why I always think like in another life I would have wanted to be like some sort of physics doctor. Like some sort of astronaut or
Right.
space related scientific thing. But God would have had made this a little bit differently. Or I would have wanted to be like an FBI agent or like a detective or something.
That would be cool. But you can't have done any drugs, I've
Ah.
heard.
Eh.
Because I think you have to go into the police force first.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I
then-
guess it depends. Like, we really like no drugs?
Well, okay, this is my limited knowledge comes from like friends of mine that have applied to be in like the Ventura County Sheriff's Department in the past, even as like a payroll person. And what they do is they interview anyone you have ever been in contact with
Wow.
in your life. So like she had like childhood friends they would go talk to. They've tracked down all of her old roommates. They wanted to know if she had ever teepeed a house. And I guess
Lauren wouldn't be able to do that then.
well, yeah, they wanted. Well, I think it's more about telling the truth, but she didn't remember that. I guess that she had like egged a house in middle school, and one of her friends they interviewed was like, "Oh yeah, I remember like egging a house with her when we were like 11." And so they were like, "You can't do payroll for us because you
fuck,
you
man?
didn't reveal that you had egged a house." And she was like, "I genuinely didn't remember. I don't remember
Yeah.
what I did when I was 11."
That's stupid.
Yeah. So
There-
I've
you know
heard.
what? There might have been something else that she didn't tell you.
I don't know because I've heard stories like that from several people. Yeah, maybe there is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's to say?
Well, then I would have wanted to be in the CIA.
That would be
Because
so
CIA is like-
cool.
You know, if you serve a purpose
Mm-hmm.
and within this agency, I don't care what the fuck you did before. Right. And that's very evil.
Have you ever heard of the Lake City Quiet Pills conspiracy? There's like actual video of an assassination being carried out by like government operatives, and it's like a modern one. And watching the footage is crazy. Like obviously you're not going to see the person be killed. I
Right.
wouldn't watch that. I know some people like doing stuff like that on the internet. I think that's self-destructive to
Yeah,
watch like
you don't
videos
need
of
to
people
see that.
dying. No, but it's like watching like the lookout of like an actual, I don't know, we don't know if it was the CIA or some other government's version of the CIA, but it's like, here's the lookout, here's a person in disguise, here they are coming back, changing out of the disguise, here's how they get into a hotel room that's locked with the chain on it, and then when they left, they were able to put the chain back on somehow. So
Magnet.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Fuck, okay. I thought it was magical.
Little thingy with a little magnet at the end. You stick
Oh,
it through, you
shit,
get the
you're
tip,
right.
you lift it, and then you just, you spend a little time there trying to get it in the slot.
Damn it.
And then cool.
All right, well, it makes it less cool.
No, it's cool.
But
It's
the guy-
really cool.
They poisoned like a leader of some country,
Fuck.
and people just thought he had a heart attack.
Ricin.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was. And then they didn't figure it out until everyone was already back in their respective countries and like under their real names, and they had traveled on fake passports. It's like crazy to like see what countries, and this is recent, like what countries are capable of.
I mean, it just goes to show, like, you know, we don't know what the fuck's going on. Like,
No.
All those things that are going on, no idea.
No idea.
So, and you're about to tell me that you don't think that the government could be covering up aliens?
They're covering up way more heinous,
Yeah.
terrible, diabolical shit.
Earthly things.
Yeah.
That are like, yeah, there's so much. It's like, it's fucking nuts. But anyways, Lou Elizondo.
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear about, how the fuck did you get in contact with him? I mean, maybe it's not hard, but he just, to me, is like this figure.
He's like an enigma.
Yeah, he is, because
Yeah.
he's literally like, if anybody knows things, it's this guy.
Right.
And especially the fact that he went on after the ATIP was disbanded or whatever to then form a private group
Right.
that's all like crowdsourced and shit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To like continue this research.
And he's like lobbying still to try to get more video and photo evidence released. He's gone on record and said that the stuff that has been released is some of the shittiest evidence we have. So,
Oh yeah,
like bad quality.
officially
Yeah.
released. Oh yeah,
Yeah, that they're
dude.
only, and he said part of it is that the stuff, there's some stuff that's like really excellent, like 1080 HD, like quality or whatever, 4K. I don't know. I'm not a doctor
Totally.
of
video
quality. Yeah. But he was saying like we have stuff that's like super high def. The reason why we can't release it is because most of the video is military video,
Right.
and it would like give away certain positions or give away what technology, like classified technology we have.
That's why that one that's blew it all open that like the pilots took
the
is
Tic
released
Tac.
now, the Tic Tac, because the technology that was the tracking technology that was used in that video is no longer state of the art.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
obsolete now. They don't use it anymore, so they declassified it and were able to release it, which makes sense. Why? But it's also a cover to hide behind.
Yeah,
You know?
because you can just say, well, we can't give it away because it would compromise our
Yeah.
whatever, our military or something. And how do you argue with that? You can't, because we don't know.
Man,
Yeah. But to get a hold of him, I literally just tweeted at him.
no fucking way.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's up?
Well, I mean, he might see this and be like, this bitch is crazy. I don't want to come on this show
No.
anymore. But
Lou,
yeah,
if you're watching, and he's not.
he's not.
Lou, if you're watching and you're probably not, go on the show.
Please
go on
come on
Let's
the
Get
show.
Haunted. And then come on
We're-
Beyond the Pod.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be fucking crazy.
Hey, if he actually comes on the show, I will tell him like, hey, you should also talk to my friend who like. I'll
I don't
phrase
know,
it.
man. That's some deep shit. I don't know if I want to get involved with that.
Well, he seems really chill.
You know, do you ever feel like, am I getting too deep into things? Is this in any way potentially dangerous to me or putting eyes on me?
Okay, I will say the only time I've ever felt like, okay, we need to stop is, first of all, I just want to preface this by saying I do not believe in QAnon at all. I think it's completely misguided. And I think there have been many iterations of like QAnon in the past.
Mm-hmm.
However, Natalia did an episode about QAnon, and for it, she had to she went on the dark web. She like downloaded
Of course she did.
or whatever. Yeah, Natalia's a wild card, which is why our podcast is great, because I will get an interview and she'll go on the fucking dark web and try to buy.
It's not illegal to go on the dark web, right? It's only illegal to do illegal things on the dark
Correct.
web.
And she was trying to buy adrenochrome, which is part of the QAnon conspiracy. And after just gonna let that sink in for you.
Like on the website, add to cart.
Like finding, like, because I don't know if
First of all, you're stupid to think that you aren't being monitored on the dark web. Do you
Yeah.
know that the government created that whole thing?
No, but Natalia, she knows she's being monitored. She just doesn't give a fuck. And so that's what is like the good balance for us, because I give too much of a fuck and she gives like negative fucks. She's like, yeah, whatever. They're going to put me in jail for trying to buy adrenochrome. Like, I'll flourish in jail. Like, that's literally,
Jesus, man.
That's literally her mindset, which is great. I love her for that.
I mean, as long as you don't break the law and purchase it.
yeah, she didn't. She
Okay.
didn't.
Then I think that that's fine.
Maybe, but I guess my point is, and I've heard other people say this. I don't know if you listened to the last podcast on the left.
No,
Okay, they're huge.
I don't listen to any podcasts anymore. I just don't have time for it.
Oh yeah. Well, I drive so often
Yeah.
for my job that I listen to everything. But they had done a QAnon episode, and following doing their episode, they had said that their phones were acting really weird. Like their phones would like reset, restart. They would have an echo back. They would get phone calls from like blocked numbers, and then it would just like echo their own voice back to them. Or they would be on phone calls with each other talking, and they could hear like somebody else as if their phone line was tapped. And I thought, that's bullshit. Like, the government has no time to be listening to a podcast. I don't know, but I will say that we had similar things happen to us after we did the QAnon episode. And so we just decided we were never going to do a related episode to that ever again. And I don't think it's because QAnon is real. I think that if in fact the government's interested in it, it's probably because it's an easy way to radicalize people. Mm-hmm. So maybe they could be thinking, this podcast talked about QAnon. We need to make sure that they're not like terrorists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. And also because she went on the dark web and tried to buy adrenochrome. That's nuts to me.
And if you guys don't know what adrenochrome is, part of the QAnon conspiracy is that the elite, like the political elite, are kidnapping children, torturing them, and then harvesting their blood, which when children again, not a doctor of science.
I was just about to say, is that even a real substance?
Natalia on the episode, again, I'm afraid to Google anything about it, but she said that it is real, that like when children are frightened, they produce this thing called adrenochrome. Like, it's a real chemical, but what's not real or what's uncertain, I don't think you can harvest it. And I don't think you can like consume it and then have some sort of benefit from it.
Didn't Hunter S. Thompson take it?
Yes. But again, I don't think it has, like, I think part of the QAnon conspiracy theory is that you drink the blood of children to remain young and like get magical powers.
Yeah.
And whereas Hunter S. Thompson was just trying to get high.
Right.
Yeah. I think it just like is this chemical that like fucks you up. I don't think it actually like gives you, like, apparently the QAnon endgame is to open your third eye and ascend to the 8th dimension. I did not realize.
Like the people in that movement?
Yeah, that's from what she told me.
So wouldn't they be theoretically taking adrenochrome too?
I don't, honestly.
We'll stop.
I like that episode upset me so much.
Totally. It is upsetting.
And she also was trying to find a snuff film as part of the QAnon conspiracy theory where Hillary Clinton is like, whatever. So anyway, it was just like a lot.
I just imagine that fucking like middle of the night, like, fuck it, let's do it. And it's just going like the most obvious way where like every red flag is fucking going. Multiple government agencies are like, what the fuck is this bitch doing, dude?
Right.
And they're all just like kind of watching and they're like, she's going for it. Yeah. She's literally going for it.
She's going for it. I know. And
Should we stop her, sir? No.
And she was hella pregnant
She's
at the time.
She's a loose cannon.
Yeah. So just picturing
we'll have to recruit her.
Yeah, pregnant Natalia in a dark room by herself at like 3 a.m, just like trying to navigate the dark web. I know.
Dude,
it's
Nat
hilarious.
would be the person that would somehow be so crazy that like the CIA would want to recruit her for something.
Yeah.
For
or
sure.
let her go with no consequences, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like she is definitely the kind of person that has really good luck. I feel like she could be caught with heroin in her ass going across the border and they would just be like, whatever, go ahead.
Fuck.
She has really good luck.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's like her superpower.
It is. Yeah. But anyway, that's why it's very fun to like be in proximity to Natalia because she's willing to do that batshit insane shit that like I would feel so uncomfortable, like would never. Yeah.
Dude, I want to do an episode with you where Nat is also there because I've only done the 2 that were just me and you.
Yeah.
Because I want to experience that. I haven't experienced that.
Yeah, it definitely
I mean, I've
is
experienced
different.
like her outside of that, but like within the scope of like the podcast, A Crazy Fucking Story, I'm so down.
Yeah, we just talked. She just told me a story today about like medieval torture shit and like I probably don't even want to talk about it because it was like putting people in like breaking people's bones and like putting them in the spokes of like a carriage wheel and like wheeling them around. And if you survived, that meant God like favored you and that the townspeople were wrong for punishing you. So then you were venerated as like
a saint,
and they would force you to stay alive with your mangled body for as long as possible. And this happened in Denmark in the Middle Ages.
Shit's been fucked up.
Yeah.
Over the centuries.
Yeah.
Like
it's every day I learn something new that I
just
can't
imagine
believe.
something like that happening and God being like, I never told you any of this.
Well, and also
None of this is anything I told you. You made it all up.
right. Well, it's such a paradox too, because it's like the Salem witch trials where they would throw a woman into a lake, and if she like tied up, and if she drowned,
the dipping thing?
Yeah, if she drowned, oh, whoops, we were wrong. She wasn't a witch. If she survives, that means she's a witch.
Yeah, it's like a lose-lose.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose.
Yeah, you die and you're not a
Totally.
witch anymore, so it's okay, but you're dead. Or you survive, which you won't.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I just saw that some city in the U.S. is finally like clearing witches' names that were killed during different witch trials. I thought that was
crazy.
interesting. I think it's pretty well accepted that none of those people were witches because nobody is a witch. Maybe that's controversial to say.
I don't know, man.
I feel like the witches I have encountered in LA are crystal girls, right?
Look, I believe that witchcraft is a real thing. I think if you're doing witchcraft for negative reasons and for evil reasons,
that I believe is real.
Get burnt,
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah,
but
that
if
shit's
you're
real.
if you're into witchcraft, like white witchcraft and Wicca and stuff like that, like that's just your expression of spirituality.
Right. Yeah.
And that's coming from a Christian, bitch.
I agree that is correct. I'm thinking about like pointy hat on a broom.
Yeah.
Like making your children, whatever that, making your
Luring
children
kids into the
behave
fucking
poorly. Yeah. Because that's what it
forest
started
and eating
as.
them.
Yeah.
I mean,
What'd
did you
just
ever
say?
see The Witch?
Yeah.
Fucking that type of witch.
Yeah.
Get fucked, bitch.
Get fucked.
So I wanted to tell you about, let me see how long we've been going. Oh, fuck. Nice. 49 minutes.
Ooh. That went by really quickly.
I wanted to, I know, dude, because we were just like,
It's gonna, I'm not gonna watch it when it comes out because I'm sure I'll promote it and stuff, but I'm just sure it's gonna be like me as the alien meme of the guy with like the fucked up hair, and he's like, it's not aliens.
no,
But
dude,
it's
fuck
aliens.
it.
But tell me about your dream.
Yes. So I had a dream the other night, and
Did you write it down?
I wrote down some of it. So basically, it was you, me, and Nat. And
Oh,
we
I
were
love it.
literally doing like traveling to different haunted places around the country and then recording an episode of Let's Get Haunted at each place.
That's such a good idea.
Isn't that a good idea?
Maybe we should do that.
And I'll be there.
Yeah. Would you guys want to watch me, James, Natalia going to haunted locations?
Dude, a special edition where I'm like
Yes.
the special guest for the whole little
Cross-
series.
It could be a crossover.
And we can film it.
It could be Beyond the
Ooh.
Pine X. Let's Get Haunted.
Oh my God, that'd be so fucking sick.
Yes.
And like, yeah, we would just like have a little crew that would go with us. I
Yeah.
think we should film it for
That
sure.
would be so fun.
That'd be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
Let's do
super
it.
fun.
I don't want to like encroach and make myself like a part of it.
No, you're
But it was my
always-
dream. So
So
I either
all
want to be a
rights
part of
you.
it or I want royalties.
Yes. Well, I can tell you right now, it's not going to make any money.
$30.
So yeah. Oh, recently I figured out how to monetize YouTube videos because we're new to
Nice.
the YouTube game.
Because you have to reach a certain
You have to
amount
reach
of subs.
exactly. And I realized you really don't make anything
No,
on AdSense.
Not anymore. Mm-mm.
It's like a cent.
Unless you're making, like with SB7 when we were putting out like before we were acquired by Rooster Teeth. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Putting out like maybe 3 videos a week, and they were all getting like 400,000 or 500,000 views, like that sweet spot. Then you're probably making some money. But like motherfuckers who are getting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 million views on a video, and they're putting out like 2, 3 videos a week, they're making money. But it's like, it's like with real economics and shit.
Yeah.
The growth is exponential, or like the comparison is exponential, where like all the little men down here aren't making anything.
Right.
And the few that are getting all that view, they're getting the majority of the money.
So
and
it's
shit.
like the Jake Pauls. Well, although he's irrelevant now, isn't he? I can't keep up.
I don't
getting
really
too
know
old.
either.
Yeah.
I've never really cared about like YouTube drama and shit.
I think like as an outsider from that a little bit, because I don't consider myself like a YouTuber or even really an entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that stuff unfold is interesting until I like started dating Steve, and then I met all of you guys, and I kind of realized like, wait a minute, everyone is like just a real person
Yeah.
trying to live. I always thought like people manufactured drama on purpose.
Oh no, for sure.
Well, sometimes that's
for
true,
sure,
but you
people
just
do.
never know.
Yeah, and I think that you get to that point when, like, you kind of run out of things to do, so then you start manufacturing things.
Yeah.
And like, dude, all the fucking drama shit where it's like, who's that one fucking guy, the fucking freak, who does all the drama shit?
Keemstar.
Keemstar. Jesus, man.
He better not. I hope he doesn't see this. I feel like he like
nobody's gonna see this, Alyssa. You give us way too much credit here.
You guys are in my eyes. You guys are like big.
Well, we're just a podcast now.
Yeah,
there's no reason.
But still,
you know, look, I don't start with shit with anybody in the industry. I'm very honest. I'm very genuinely myself. I try to be very forefront with who I am at all times because guess what? I don't give a shit.
Right.
I'd rather be that way than worry about other shit.
I guess I would say I think Keemstar is a piece of shit just as like an outsider. I don't know him personally.
I think that's common fact.
But I am like afraid of his army of like 10-year-olds that just
they would have no reason
people.
to go after you or me.
God, I hope not.
Because if this podcast was getting 1 million views, maybe.
But also all I've really
Let's blow this up.
Yeah.
Million views.
Share it with everyone you know.
Yeah, and then that'll be an extra.
And then it'll ruin my life because he'll dox me.
He just doxes you.
Yeah.
He doesn't. It's this my podcast. He doesn't even go after me.
I feel like he doesn't like women, so I think
oh, he's definitely misogynistic incel fucking freak.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. He hates women.
That's
so
I'm
funny.
Afraid.
Like I feel like he hates women. Oh yeah. He hates women.
How like shitty is it that that's his legacy? Is like the average person is like he has an army of 10-year-olds and he doesn't like women.
That's why like I'm so glad that we got as big as we did and then we kind of plateaued, you know, because like we didn't blow to like the fucking Paul brothers like H3 level of like unbelievable amounts of like viewership and all that shit. We did our rise and then we stayed steady for a while and then we kind of like dipped out a little bit and then we were fired. And then and then we were like peace. And that kind of like encapsulated us in like a little like moment in time. You know what I mean? Where like we had our time and we didn't continue to try to fucking make it be something. Well, because we were fired.
Right. Well, but I also appreciated how honest you guys were about the like rise and plateau and ending of the channel. Because I think I learned a lot from it for sure. Like burnout is such a real thing. Yeah. And when a company's trying to make you, and that's kind of why, I mean, of course, Natalia and I would love to be bought out. Like, who am I kidding? We would, because we need funding. It's like not sustainable. But it'd be different
because literally you guys are already doing your podcast at the only level that it should be done at. 1 episode a week.
Right.
Like no company's going to pick you up and be like 6 episodes a week.
Right.
That's just not how podcasts
That's true.
like yours work.
That's
like,
true.
Crime Junkies, fucking all those episodic story-based ones.
Yeah, whatever.
They're once a week episodes and that's it. So like, I feel like it'd be different if you guys were to be acquired, and this is no fucking bad blood against Rooster Teeth. They didn't know what to do with us and we didn't know what to do either. It was just a situation, right?
Right. Yeah. It just is what it is.
It is what it is. Like I don't have any bad blood against Rooster Teeth, but I also will speak honestly about things because it's just who I am. And they know. They know James.
Yeah.
They hate James.
No.
No, I'm kidding. But what I was going to say, if you guys were to be acquired by like a podcast network, they would know exactly what to do with you.
I think my fear is like, for example, when Natalia got pregnant and then she was about to give birth. Well, no. Fantastic. Her son is adorable. But we had to record a shit ton of episodes in a row because she needed maternity leave, obviously. You can't pop out a kid and then be like, now let me tell you the story of some haunted ass shit that happened. It just doesn't work that way. And we were so burnt out. We had to record like 7 episodes in like a 2-week period or something. And even that, we were so burnt out from it. And so I cannot imagine you guys having to be on camera coming up with, because we're scripted. So for, at a certain point, it's easier. You guys had to like ad lib and do improv and find situations to put yourselves in and figure out what thumbnails and tags and metadata are going to be relevant and try to like work in ads to certain things. And I just like, I don't know how you guys did it for that long. It's not sustainable.
It's not. And that's why we burnt out. And that's like the biggest lesson that I've learned from it. And even like this week, I did a podcast with Autumn on Tuesday and then doing another one today.
Right.
Like that's already like a lot for like podcast stuff in 1 week. Not even mentioning all the other fucking work and shit I have to do. So it's definitely like, and going back to when we first started the podcast, it's all about balance. You know,
it is,
you have to find balance. And there will be times where you have no choice but to grind really fucking hard and do a lot of fucking shit to get done what you need to get done,
Right.
but then you have to adjust for that and like give yourself some time to not do a bunch of shit. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because obviously, like the music video we shot the other week, it was pretty like simple, like run and gun. Like I got a good amount of gear, and it was literally just like the first day was me and Clay and one other guy helping us, and then the next day was me and Clay and then another guy helping us. So it was like three people each day, and but then the second day we literally went from like 1 p.m. until 6 a.m. and it was fucked.
Yeah, no.
I literally like I had to drive
Ruins your sleep schedule.
the Genie truck back to my shop and then drive home, and it was like 7 a.m. and I was in morning traffic, sun's up, and I was like,
yeah, you're like a zombie.
yeah, it was the closest I've ever been to falling asleep while driving.
That's scary.
It was scary.
Yeah.
But it's sick.
And then you saw a UFO because you were hallucinating.
Whoa.
And then you said, Lauren, sorry I'm late, but a UFO landed in front of
No,
my car.
Lauren was having COVID. She wasn't even home.
Right.
Yeah.
Lauren just got over COVID. So did Natalia. COVID's on the loose.
No, she wasn't there.
No.
I was like, that's it.
No, that's why she wasn't there.
Isn't that
Because-
vaccinated?
No.
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 Yeah, makes sense.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
I
it's
can't.
because she was pregnant.
Yeah, I
understand.
can't speak to, what I'm sure that there's like a good reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. She's not an asshole. So.
Yeah. I think it's because she was pregnant.
Yeah,
And that
probably.
makes
I mean, I
sense.
know-
I understand the concerns and things in
Right.
that situation. For
Yeah,
sure.
everybody's different. I
Yeah.
know some girls that got pregnant during the pandemic that did get vaccinated. I think it's just a personal choice, and I'm sure she made that decision with her doctor. And they probably said, just wait.
Yeah.
And then she ended up getting COVID. So it's like you can't get the vaccine until 90 days after you've had COVID because the antibodies, the level is too high. So if you were to get the vaccine, you'd just be really sick because you'd be adding like double antibodies.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
So I think she's going to get it at some point.
For sure, yeah.
Especially in LA. It's so hard to do anything if you're not vaccinated. More and more places are asking for the card. So
Yep. Like there's a lot of sets that I've been on where like they still make you get tested, but then like half of them have been like, are you vaccinated? And like that's like a thing now. And like a friend of mine was just like on a show, like acting in a show, and he's not vaccinated, but he got tested like 3 times that week, all negative, and then they were still like almost gonna like kick him off.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've heard that. I have an acquaintance who's an actor, and his girlfriend was telling me that he got a role before the pandemic, and he's actually refusing to be vaccinated, and they just like won't let him. Like they rescinded the offer. Yeah, I mean,
And that's a strange situation. It's a gray area for sure because
Yeah.
like I think obviously you can't eradicate a virus without everyone being vaccinated. That's
Right.
how you get rid of polio, smallpox,
Exactly.
all this shit. That's the only way it works.
Yeah.
Unless it keeps mutating and shit like with the flu every year, but the flu isn't at the level where it's overwhelming hospitals nonstop. You know what I
Correct,
mean?
yeah.
But also, I think if you're testing negative repeatedly and being safe and not going out when you're working on these things, then it's kind of like the same thing.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
It is-
I do think everyone should get vaccinated.
Right.
But
It is. I know exactly what you mean. I was actually thinking about this the other day because as maybe some of your viewers know, I have an autoimmune disease. And so for me, getting vaccinated was a no-brainer, and my entire family's vaccinated. Most of my coworkers are vaccinated. Everyone in my life, pretty much, besides a couple of people, are vaccinated. And it's hard. Like, I don't think that it's hard because I don't think necessarily that the government should say you have to get this
Yeah.
sort of treatment, right? But at the same time, from like maybe kind of a selfish place, I'm like, I would feel more comfortable if everyone was vaccinated. And especially, I think the pandemic kind of taught me like which people literally just don't give a fuck about me. Like some people who are just anti, and you talk to them about it and you're like, why? Like, why don't you like, I can't hang out with you. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
like, why? And it's like, you're the crazy one. It's like, no, why can't you hang out with me? I'm offended that you won't hang out with me because I'm not vaccinated or whatever. And I'm not testing negative. It's like, okay, well, I'm offended that you won't get.
It's literally like the focus is in the wrong place with some people that have that opinion, where it's like, oh, you're not going to hang out with me because I'm not vaccinated.
Right.
But it's like, no, I'm not going to hang out with you because
I
of
don't
the
wanna
implications
die.
of that.
Yeah.
Because you might have it and not know and spread it to me, and I will be affected from
Right,
a
and
lot
I
more.
will be
It's
the
not
one-
about the title of being vaccinated, all this fucking political bullshit.
Exactly.
It's literally like, no. You know what I
It's
mean?
like literally, I just can't be
And
around
that's just what, unfortunately, the world we live in
Yeah.
is.
It is, yeah. And
I
it's
wish that, like,
unfortunate.
because I'm also like, I don't know how I would feel about the government mandating anything over the people.
Right,
I think
yeah.
that there's more times than not, that's not a good thing to do. But I just wish that people were informed enough to understand that they should get it on their own without having to be mandated to
that
do it.
you hit the nail on the head.
But
And
that's not how it is.
and I feel like a lot of people are at this point where they dug in their heels so much that now
They have to double down.
They feel like they
Yeah.
can't
Yeah,
under
they
any
can't back down.
circumstance. And I guess to anyone out there like that, I would say nobody's going to think less of you if you change your mind and get vaccinated.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't know.
literally like that one guy on TikTok who he blew up because he was the guy who originally was like, I got vaccinated and now like I'm magnetic, like the coin's sticking to
God,
me.
it's so
And in a
stupid.
fucking video, like somebody was like, because you know how you can reply to comments and stuff.
Yeah.
So the comment was like, rub your arm with baby powder and then stick it on.
And then did you see he was
And then he did it and he does and he tries to get the right spot and then it slips off and it falls. And he immediately goes, I apologize. I've been so stupid. And like,
yes, and that's awesome.
and everybody was fucking like, hey, right
That's
on,
fine.
man.
Yeah,
right
that's
on
fine.
for owning up to it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like normalize fucking people owning up to their shit, admitting that they're wrong and changing.
Yeah. Yeah, and who gives a shit at that point? And it's like, I think we're kind of seeing it now with, like, now that one of the vaccines is FDA approved, a lot of people were using that as an excuse, like, I'm not going to get vaccinated because it's not FDA approved, which, fine. That's totally fine if you have that opinion. I disagree, but that's fine. And now it's the same
And
people
then
are now saying,
Those same people
Yeah.
are vaping vape pens that aren't FDA approved.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
or or getting collagen injections, or
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
It's a pick and choose type of thing.
it really is. Yeah.
But now that it is FDA approved, now they're saying, well, that doesn't mean anything.
the FDA got paid off.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, probably, man. I don't know.
Man, I don't know. All I know is that I researched it and I listened to scientists, and I have people that I'm friends with that are nurse practitioners, and everyone said it was fine. And so I made the decision. It's like, make that decision for yourself based on research that's not like someone's blog spot,
Exactly.
you know?
And then people saying like, you know, and obviously I say, because I felt kind of conflicted about it before I got vaccinated, just because I was like, I'm not worried about myself, and I'm not worried, you know, I've stayed good up until this point and haven't gotten it or spread it to people. If I continue just living my life the way that I am, like, I'm confident that I will remain to live that same way. But then we went to Hawaii, and it was just so much easier to get vaccinated and just no sweat off our back. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so I did some research on it that helped encourage me and made me feel really good about it, and learned more about what the fuck vaccines are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like, when are we ever in a situation where we have to know about what vaccines are?
Never.
We get them when we're kids.
Yeah.
And then we just go through life. There's never a situation where like this thing that's normal is put under a fucking spotlight, and now the entire world's like looking at, what is this thing?
Yeah. And
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, I think something that like also encouraged me to get the shot in sort of like a roundabout way is, I don't know if you recall, one of your listeners passed away a couple before the pandemic from the flu. And she was a disabled
I didn't know
listener.
that.
Yeah. She was a disabled listener.
Wow.
And could not get the flu shot because she was immunocompromised. And somebody decided not to get the flu shot around her. She ended up getting it, and she passed away. And I think,
Jesus. I didn't
man,
know
like
that.
all just because one person
Yeah.
didn't get the shot. And the flu shot, I don't think it's malicious to not get it. I think people just don't think about it because the average person doesn't die from the flu. But that's definitely something that like I think about all the time now, because I'm like, that's a real example of somebody that, and she didn't deserve that, you know?
Yeah.
So if you're a healthy person and you can get it, I definitely think you should.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Well, I just realized that I didn't talk to you about the dream.
That wasn't the entire
That
dream?
wasn't the entire dream.
Oh my
no.
God.
That was just like the setup for the dream.
Oh, I thought that was the whole dream. Okay, tell
so
me.
Right. This whole situation, we're cross-country road trip, going to different haunted places, recording an episode of Let's Get Haunted at each of these places. I'm part of the show. I'm officially part of the show.
Yes, you are.
And so we go to this one house, and it's been like maybe 2 weeks since I had the dream, so I'm going to try to remember my best. But
okay. You can make it up. I won't know the difference.
So, like, the thing is I don't know if it was like this for every place we went to, but for this house that we went to, you guys weren't telling me like what the deal was with this house. Yeah. Just like we knew it was a haunted house, or I knew it was a haunted house. And so we get there, we set up and shit. And then you show me like a video of what happened at this house, like a paranormal experience at this house. And I'm literally sitting in a chair like this, watching the video, and in it, like, dude's arm or whatever, like in a shirt, like invisible handprint, like grasps it, like, you know what I mean? So you can see the imprint of the hand. And then as that's happening, it happens to my leg, like with my pants, and I see like a handprint on my leg, and I like feel it like squeezing and shit. And I'm like, I'm not about this. Yeah. I'm just like, no.
And what were Nat and I doing?
And
just
I was like
laughing?
pissed. I was like pissed at you guys because you didn't tell me that this might happen.
Yeah, you're gonna
like
get grabbed by a ghost.
Like leading into it and shit. And I think you guys were just like, whoa, that's sick. And I was like, it's happening to me.
Yeah, we're like, this is great content, James. Just hang in there.
And I think that's all I remember from it. But
that's scary.
It was really funny.
Well, maybe we got to try to recreate that. Maybe this was like a vision you had of something in the future that's going to happen.
Don't want that to happen.
But it could, and it could
Don't
be
want
great
that to
content.
Happen. Don't want that to happen.
Or hauntent, as we call it on Let's Get Haunted.
That's terrible.
I know.
No, and that's like my conflict about shit is like, I'm more into alien stuff than paranormal stuff, I think. Just because like I would never want to be in a situation where something really paranormal happens and it's fucked.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I have no I'm not grounded anymore. You know what I mean? Like anything could be happening around me at any time.
Yeah.
And then you just lose your mind.
Yeah. What is reality?
Yeah.
If some fucked ghost comes and drags me to a liminal space and then spits me back out of a portal in my timeline.
Yeah. And it's like a ghost fucking grabs your leg and then you're like, that's real now. That happened. I'm going to be fucking worried that that's going to happen at any point for the rest of my life.
And that, again, that's what kind of tripped me up about that CIA guy, is because I always thought it was bullshit. Like, I don't know, like the psychic eye or whatever. And he's like, no, some people can do it. We just don't know how to harness it and weaponize it. So it's not useful to any of us. I don't know. And that, yeah, I kind of felt like, what is real after that? And so, I don't know. I've kind of just tried to stop trying. I try not to think about the logical explanation anymore.
Yeah.
I just say, okay, theory number one, like when we're talking about an episode, theory number one, the alien really did come down and land in front of this guy's car and visit his family. Theory number two, he was cheating on his wife, invented some weird as fuck story, for some reason decided to like double down and make a police report and then triple down and go on the news about it. Yeah. Which is possible. But I feel like it's more fun to believe an alien came down. So that's what I choose to believe.
Yeah. And like aliens, like I used to be so scared, not used to be like it was a thing, but for a small period of time in my life, like this past year, I was like, that idea of just the size of space and the idea that there is life out there scared me.
It is scary.
Because it's very scary. But I feel like I'm more at peace with it now. Like I'm like, yeah. Well, because I remember I talked to Clay about it, and he actually gave me really good advice with just that idea. I know, right?
Kib did.
Yeah,
wow.
and he was like, I don't understand why that's scary though, because the way I see it is, if that's true, then nothing's different. Like then that's how it always was and how it always will be. Yeah. It's nothing. There's nothing different about it.
Oh wow!
And I was like, yeah,
Kib.
Yeah, and that really helped me, like just be at peace with the shit that I don't know, because if there is existence of things, that is just what it is.
Yeah, that's how it's always been, how it always will be. My life isn't different.
And exactly. Yeah. It's like My day-to-day
that's
life is
wow.
exactly the same. And
That's
that's how I
great
feel about
advice.
like the simulation theory and shit. If we're all in a simulation, I'm like, fuck it. My life and my reality is exactly the same as it is every
Right.
day, regardless of if I'm actually here or if it's a simulation. I would have no way of knowing. So fuck it.
Do you believe in simulation theory?
I think it's interesting, but I don't believe in it.
Yeah, I don't either.
No.
Because I can think of many times that I had like multiple options for like very life-changing things and how close I was to picking something else, and then I picked that other thing. So I just don't think anything is predestined. I don't think anything is a game that some other beings are controlling.
Yeah. I definitely don't think that it's that. Like if it was a simulation, I still think that it would be
Free will.
free will within the context of the simulation, but like, I don't know. And I feel like when it comes to like predestined things, I think that it's more complex than this is how, you know, events are going to happen regardless of anything. It's already all planned out. I think that there are certain points in your life that are kind of there for you that you can either get to or not get to.
Right.
Kind of like the whole idea of like, you know, your dreams in life, your what you're destined to do, your passions,
Your
things like that,
purpose.
your purpose. Like there are these moments and situations kind of there in your like complex timeline, but you can very easily not hit them, go right around them, miss
Yeah.
them, or hit all of them. You know what I mean? It's
That's
like,
true.
so I think it's a combination of like chance and predestination.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
No.
You know, see, reincarnation to me is very comforting because the idea of not existing in human form is like very upsetting to me. I don't know why. If I start to think about like, I don't know, like the concept of heaven, obviously paradise, right? I can't even imagine how great that would be.
Yeah.
But it just still makes me uncomfortable. Like, so what? Now I'm just my consciousness floating around in a white cloud. Like, I would rather be a human with all the pain and suffering and choices and than being in some paradise where I can't, I don't know. It's like, that's all there is. Like, I'm just now I'm in like, I'm elated for the rest of my life as a cloud of consciousness.
That's a great point. And I wouldn't say, I mean, I say like, no, I don't believe in it just because I haven't really given it much thought from the perspective of like, could this be real? But in the past couple of years, I've become so much more open to so many different like forms of spirituality, ways of thinking, philosophies and things. And like from the perspective of being like, I was very, very Christian for a long time and have since kind of moved away from the church.
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, I just didn't I didn't fuck with it anymore. And I think that like for me it was, and I just kind of talked about this with Autumn on the last podcast, and she had a really interesting idea of like our existence is like the universe personifying itself into a physical being in order to learn about itself from a different perspective. And it was really, I forget if that's exactly how she described it, but it was really
I'll
interesting.
listen to it when it comes out. Is
it's
it
out.
already out? What?
Came out yesterday.
Oh, that's why I missed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. But for me, it was just like, I don't know. I feel like there's this way, it's all really big and really complex and so many things going on. And that like for, you know, the narrow-mindedness of the Christian church to at least the modern day Christian church to be so confident and sometimes arrogant with how they approach the world and things. I was just over it.
Right.
You know, I was just like, I don't know, because like, I feel like God is way bigger than like, do this or you're fucked.
Right.
You know? And like, the whole idea of like hell and stuff like that. And like, if you're not a Christian, then you're going to hell. And if you sin, you're going to hell. But at the same time, we were born into sin.
Right.
So
It's
like
a
it's built into us.
catch-22.
And we're not meant to be perfect because there's like hypocrisies and shit. Not even getting into all the fucking social shit.
Oh
that
yeah.
like
I mean, I feel like that most people
also a
understand
huge
that anyway.
reason.
Yeah.
Just all the stuff, like obviously. But there's like foundational hypocrisies that never really sat, or maybe did sit right with me at a time, but then as I thought more about it and like separated myself from the church and
Looked
was
at
able to
it.
look at it from a different perspective, fucking the sin thing, and also like, you know, if you're living a perfect Christian life, then like you're trying to be perfect at everything and the way you act and think and all this shit.
You're
But
not
then
a real
like,
person.
But then like we're not meant to be perfect because literally within Christianity there was only one perfect person, that was Jesus.
Yeah.
We're not meant to be perfect, so
Right.
why are
So why
we
should we try?
to be perfect?
Yeah.
Like that's just not. It was like this weird like paradox. You know what I
No,
mean?
I think that's a really smart way to look at it.
And obviously I believe in Jesus and I believe in God and like the Christian kind of Godhead and things. A lot of it I do believe in, but I think that it's so easy that so much of it has been changed and corrupted to serve an agenda of people,
Right.
people with prejudices and people that wanted power and control and money and shit. Easy thing, use this fucking religion to do it, to get all of it. You know what I mean?
Okay, I just watched Celebrity Wife Swap the other day. This is related, I promise.
Okay, changing the subject. I just watched.
No, this is related. Do you remember that guy who ran a mega church who got caught with a male prostitute?
Which one?
Yeah, right. And with
I
like
think
meth?
so. Yeah, this was probably like 10 years or so ago.
Maybe
even like 6 years
yeah,
ago.
something like that.
Um,
I forget his name, but I just watched. He was on Celebrity Wife Swap, and you want to know who his wife swapped with?
huh.
Gary Busey. So
I love that that's like Gary Busey and this random fucking guy are on the same level of
Yeah.
celebrity
Yes.
to be on Celebrity Wife Swap.
yes, and I guess my point is to like bring it back to what you were saying. As I was watching, first of all, I really feel for this guy because I think he's just very confused about his sexuality,
100%.
and I think that's really tragic that he feels like he can't be perhaps who he wants to be. But watching him with this facade of like, you know, smiling, kind of like the creepy alien we're talking about, where he's just like smiling a little too big
Yeah.
all the time and being over the top positive and over the top wholesome. And I was just watching it and I was thinking, dude, you were a multimillionaire on a private jet making money off of your religion. And now that you've been knocked down several pegs and you're no longer in charge of anything, you want to pretend to be this like pious and humble person. And so I guess when you're talking about stepping away from the church, I mean, that makes sense because there is a lot of self-serving stuff out there that is not genuine and is not out there to fulfill you as like a person seeking spirituality.
100%.
Gary Busey,
It's the same as he's always been.
No, Gary Busey is super into astral projection, as it turns out, and he's also really into like shamanism and stuff. And
can
so
see that.
that's why they did the swap with them.
Right.
And
So they try to do like opposites?
yeah, they tried to do opposites, and he brought out somebody that he was like, this is like someone who's going to do this Native American ceremony for us. And the guy's name was like Bob, which doesn't mean anything. You can have any name, but it was just like, I could be totally wrong, but the way they portrayed this person in the show was like, this is just some dude on the street that like is taking Gary Busey's money. I don't know if that's true or not, but it was just like some dude who like walks up and he's like, all right, so Gary, you can wear the talon of the eagle because you're Native American, and like
Like he was just winging it.
yeah, he's just winging it. Yeah.
For sure.
And Gary Busey, who famously had a traumatic brain injury, so it's like you feel bad.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why he is the way he is.
Huh.
He was like talking about like, I'm 0.00001% Chumash, so therefore like I really like identify with this eagle's talon. And I was just sitting there like, wow, they really did pick like
Yeah.
two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. It's interesting though. And I mean, like,
I mean, there's no way to know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
So you can just be a good person and believe that there is a greater power. I mean, there's so many iterations of God throughout many different cultures, and you know, I don't know.
Yeah. 100%.
Who the fuck knows?
Literally no one knows. Cool.
Did we do it?
We did it.
Woo!
Yeah, because I got to leave in like 30 minutes anyways, drive all the way to fucking Burbank
No.
at 5:30.
Well, I have to drive all the way back to Oxnard.
That sucks too.
Yeah.
I have to drive all the way to Burbank, get a van, go drive to a set in Woodland Hills, and then pick up a light, and then drive back there, drop off the light in the van, get back in my car, and drive home.
All right. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to listen.
You're not going to do it.
Yeah. You're going to listen to the Randonautica episode of Let's Get Haunted because that's the one that the CIA guy was on.
I'm down. Fuck.
But
I'll get it after.
The first
So it's not just like 5 minutes of you like
you're
trying to
fine.
find it.
But the first 45 minutes of it is just Natalia talking about how she found a possum on the side of the road. So you may want to
Is that the possum that she saved?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We
remember that happening.
crowdfunded the money, the haunted fam, the haunties, crowdfunded and rescued that possum. Well, she rescued it to her credit. She stopped on the freeway and picked it up and like took it into her bathtub. And
that's Nat.
And that's Nat. That's what I'm saying. So if you want to know someone who will go on the dark web and try to find Hillary Clinton's snuff film, but also will rescue a possum, that's Natalia.
Try to buy some green chrome.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, James, for having me on the show.
It's been a blast. I love
had
our
a great
conversations.
time.
What I like about our conversations is we're not afraid to just fucking like jump into shit.
Yeah.
And just be like, fuck it.
Yeah, this is
what
what's on my mind right now, Gary Busey.
Yeah, I'd love to have you on again.
Well, I'd love to be back again. I really had a great time, and hopefully we can do a Beyond the Pine X Let's Get Haunted crossover.
Oh my God, dude. Like, yeah. I mean,
that would be
why?
so fun.
And Clay too, obviously.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, of course he's part
Maybe
of
not.
Beyond the Pine. I mean, look.
No, just kidding.
We'll see.
Of course.
We'll see.
I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be the four of us because it would be like, I just feel like we would all mesh very well. And it would be more of like, I think that we could do dedicated episodes, but then also have like shit that we're filming for like a little mini series of like our experiences while we're doing it and shit. And like, maybe we see some haunted shit. Maybe we don't. Probably won't.
But we could. And there's always that possibility we could, and that's why we have to do it.
I mean, what do you think about all those like ghost hunter shows?
Okay, so we had someone on our podcast who is a person who's on one of the ghost hunter shows. She's not like the ghost hunter, but they like will cut to her and she'll offer commentary. And she said that those guys are all assholes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like a few months ago, Lauren and I just like watched a few episodes because we were bored. And I was like, this is so funny.
Yeah.
This shit is so funny.
It's
how like
so over the top.
It's so over the top. Like they were in like some hospital or something, and like the one dude was like, one of the side dudes was like, whoa, like he just went right past me, man. And the main dude's like, Mike. And I'm just like, are you serious?
Yeah, or like the guy, I don't know, there's like some crew member down the hallway who claps and it's like very obvious it was a human. They're like, did you hear that?
And then absolutely nothing happens in the shot and they're like, right there, dude. Right there.
Yeah.
They just fucking walked past.
Yeah,
and then they like do
freeze
the like playback of it and it's like all these filters on it and shit and it's literally just like absolutely nothing. And they're like, or they play a voice and it's like,
they're like, it just said that it was murdered. Yeah.
And it's like, I was murdered. It's like, I don't know, man. It's funny though. I've always wanted to do like a really good like parody of that. I think that would be really fun to do. I've also really wanted to do a parody of like a Jersey Shore type of show.
That would be
like a reality show, like played super straight, but like.
What state would it be?
It would be like Jersey Shore.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it would be like Jersey Shore, but I just had like this because Lauren and I love Jersey Shore. We were watching the new show that's like Family Vacation one.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
And there's like 4 seasons for you to watch if you're bored.
Shit.
And there's like one part, Ronnie's like fucking crying about like his fucking girlfriend or something like that. And he's like in the bathroom and it's like a shot from like of the door. And like you just hear him like crying in the bathroom. And I just thought it'd be so funny. Just like, and he's also just taking like a fat shit. So like super heady,
right?
Intellectual, like funny stuff.
Yeah, of course. You'd have to actually you'd have to read a lot of books to understand the humor. So if you didn't think that was funny, sorry.
But anyways, we'll head out.
Okay.
Thank you again so much. This has been so fun.
Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you to the Beyond the Pine listeners and watchers who watched this.
Beats me.
Thank you.
If you haven't already, obviously check out Let's Get Haunted. Amazing fucking podcast.
Thank you. We do our
award-winning podcast.
We won a Shorty Award, if you can believe
It's
it.
fucking crazy.
And yet we're still not with the network.
It'll happen. It'll happen. I mean, how many episodes have you done?
83.
Yeah.
Really? I feel like that's a lot.
It is, but I mean, to start from the bottom, now you're here. Like,
It's true.
I mean, fucking Joe Rogan's podcast didn't start to like blow up until like episode like 800 or some shit.
Oh, okay. That makes me feel better.
I'm not saying it's going to take 800,
Right.
but like, and he
I'm
was
also
already
not
like
saying
a celebrity.
I'm Joe Rogan. But
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be.
No. No.
But yeah, and check out the episode that I was on a few weeks ago.
Paranormal Games Part 1.
It was
James
so
was
fun.
on that.
And yeah, fucking have a good drive home.
Thank you. Have a good drive to pick up cameras and then drop them off.
I won't. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Oh, fuck.